Greetings, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. I am very pleased to share with you today the calendar which our Creator used to covenant with the children of Israel. The particular calendar that I'm sharing is for the year 5883, which is also the third year in the first week of the 121st Jubilee since the time of our father Adam. You may download the calendar at the link which I have provided in the description box below this video. I know and I understand that many of you might hesitate to believe that this truly is the calendar which our Creator used to schedule the Sabbaths and the appointments that He commanded the children of Israel to observe and to keep. But before you dismiss this calendar, kindly allow me to share with you the solution to the one problem which no calendar makers in the history of this world have ever been able to solve except Enoch. I share that solution with you in the hope that perhaps you might notice that of all those who have made claims similar to the one I'm making today, none appears to have this solution except me. And for that reason, you might think to look at this calendar in a different light as compared to all those other calendars. Let me begin by explaining what the problem is, and thereafter you will see how its solution ties to the identity of the Jordan River. A calendar is good if the method that it uses to assign dates to days makes it easy to determine the number of days between any two dates on that calendar, regardless of how far apart those two dates may be. The calendar that does that best is one in which all the years have the same number of days. A calendar is also good if it assigns the same date every year to the same point in the cycle of the seasons of this earth. And the calendar that does that best is one that has the same number of days in a year as it takes this earth to cycle through its seasons one time. And of course, a day in the calendar, any calendar, cannot belong partly to one year and partly to another year. And so the problem is that the number of days that it takes this earth to go through the cycle of its seasons one time is greater than 365, but less than 366. That makes it impossible to make a calendar in which all the years have the same number of days and which also assigns the same date every year to the same point in the cycle of the seasons of this earth. The only option, it seems, is to go with one or the other, but not with both. The makers of the Gregorian calendar, which is the modern calendar that we use, and its predecessor, the Julian calendar, made the choice to go with varying the number of days in a year by making some years have 365 days and some 366 days. The makers of the Jewish calendar and its ancestor, the Babylonian calendar, made the same choice but implemented it by making some years have 12 months and some 13 months. Those choices came at the cost of making it very complicated to determine the number of days between any two dates on those calendars, especially if those dates were several years or even centuries apart. The makers of the Egyptian calendar, on the other hand, chose to go with making all their years have the same number of days, being 365. That made it virtually impossible to determine the point in the cycle of the seasons that the world was in on any given date on that calendar. The calendar which Enoch shared with mankind, and which is the same one that I have shared with you today, solves both problems. By making the number of days in all its years equal to 364, that calendar ensures that any given point in the cycle of the seasons of this earth will always fall on the same date on that calendar every 294 years. That comes about because the number of days that it takes this earth to go through the cycle of its seasons 293 times is exactly equal to the number of days that there are in 294 years of the Enoch calendar. You can confirm this by dividing the total number of days in 294 years of the Enoch calendar by 293. The result should exactly equal the average number of days in a Gregorian calendar year. That characteristic of the Enoch calendar makes it possible to determine the point in its cycle of seasons that the earth was in or will be in for any date on that calendar. For example, we know that the children of Israel crossed the Jordan River on the 10th day of the first month in the first year of the 51st Jubilee. Using that characteristic, anyone can be able to confirm that on that day the earth was at the same point in its cycle of seasons as it was on July 21st, 2024. And since on that day the Jordan River was in flood, it follows that the only rivers which could possibly be the Jordan River are those which are known to flood on or around July 21st. Two such rivers are the Chari River in Chad and the Logon River, which flows between Chad and Cameroon. And that is part of the reason, that's one of the reasons why those two rivers are such strong candidates to be the Jordan River of the Bible. The other reason is that those two rivers merge at the capital city of Chad in N'Djamena and then flow together into Lake Chad about 100 kilometers away. That matches exactly the description of the Jordan River that is found in verses 116 and 117 of the letter of Aristeas, a link to which I have included in the description box below this video. It is not a wonder that the book of Joshua chapter 3 and verse 16 appears to be saying that two separate streams of water were stopped in order to allow the Israelites to cross the Jordan River on dry ground. And so looking at this information in conjunction with other information that I do not have enough time to go to in this video, or enough space to go to in this video, one is led inevitably to the following four conclusions. 1. The land which our Creator promised to Abraham and his descendants is located to the west of the Nile River. Number 2. The river that we presently call Chari is the same one that the Bible calls the River Jordan. Number 3. The body of water that we presently call Lake Chad is the same body of water that the Bible calls the Sea of Galilee. And number 4, the country that we call the Central African Republic is sitting on a significant portion of the territory that once was the Kingdom of Israel. I plan to share the additional information that I left out of this video in the near future, and I hope to see you at that time. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and have a good day. Bye-bye.